Good. Let's go ahead and create some helper methods. At first, we need to rotate the wheels and rotate the car itself. To rotate the object in the plugin, you got this rotate script, right? Open the rotate script, and then if you're going to rotate it, the car will be rotated in the X, Y, and Z axis, but we just want to rotate it in the Y axis. So just add here some zeros for X and Z, and then you're good to go. Save the script. It's gonna be reloaded in Unity. Perfect. If that's done, just go to your prefab, open it up, and add the rotate script to your Model S. But be aware, if you rotate your Model S, you won't rotate the shadow. So go ahead, add the shadow to the model, to the plane to the Model S, and then you can add the rotate script to Model S. Perfect. Good. Let's go back. And now we're good to go. For the animation, the tires should just rotate to simulate a driving behavior. And the rotation script is already in the Model S. So what we need now is a new folder. Let's call it animations, and let's create our first animation. At first we have to select prefab. No. First, let's go to our prefab, to the Model S, and select a wheel. Okay, we want to add an animation for this wheel. Create animation, let's call it driving. And let's add it to the wheel. What is driving going to do? We just have to adjust the x-axis in the rotation. So let's add a property, rotation, x-axis. Okay. I think that was the correct. Yeah. Let's have a look now. If we rotate. Perfect. All right. So the correct values are epsilon, y 0 and z also 0. And then we can rotate perfect. Great. All right. So we are working here with keyframes. Wait a minute. We got here wrong keyframes. Let's add again the property, rotation. Perfect. Great. Okay. To simulate a driving behavior, just go into the end of your animation, change this value to -400. Let's have a look. It's going backwards. Okay. Good. So let's add this in here and positive in here. And now it's driving forward. Perfect. Alright. Now if you're going to play, you will see it's driving very fast. Perfect. Okay. And now if you have a look, it's starting slowly and ending slowly. But starting slowly is alright, it's okay. But it should be endless, the driving animation, right? Okay. For this, one thing we have to check loop time. Okay, now it's looping. Now we're going back to the animation, go to wheel, press play. Now it's looking like it's driving continuously. Okay, but we also get now the slowly stopping, slowly ending. For this, go to curves. Okay, if you're not seeing continuous curves, you didn't have checked the loop time. All right, so to make a really continuous animation here in the curve, you get the points for start and end. Okay, these are looking like this. All right, we have to make it linear to a linear curve, and here on the top too, just drag it so it's totally it's a line and not a curve. Let's check this. Okay, yeah, I think that's good. Now let's go back and play the animation. Perfect. Much better. Alright. Now that we've done this, let's go ahead, create a new animation for parked. Okay, if it's parked, then we're going back to in here, go to parked, and we need a new property, rotation. Now we set here on the starting point it's negative, going to positive. Alright, now it should end slowly but not start slowly. Alright, so to do that, go in here in a starting point, make it linear. Perfect. Now it's simulating that it was driving and then slowly stopping. This is how you're doing a driving and a parked animation. Perfect. All right. Now, while we have added an animation to a game object or 3D model, it is going to create this animation controller. Okay, here we get driving and parked. We need a new state. Let's call it, let's make it full screen so that you guys can see all of this here. Great. Perfect. In the new state, let's call it idle. And set this as our default starting point. Now, when is the car going from the state idle to driving? We are gonna create a variable for that, call it speed, and get a integer, okay? It's going from idle to driving in condition speed if speed is greater 0, okay? Good. And it's going from driving to parked if speed equals 0, and from parked to driving if speed is greater 0. Alright, perfect. Our animation controller is finished. Now let's copy these components, go back in here, go to the second wheel, and now because we know how to align this, it's just minus 90, minus 180, 180, yeah, 180. That was the right direction. Perfect. Great. Now, one more thing. Now you can go ahead, just drag and drop driving and parking. Go in here, go to animator, delete this, add this, add the variable, speed, and that's it. Everything is set up now. Do the same thing for this wheel and the last wheel. Great. Copy this in here. Oh no, this is our default starting point. This is our default starting point. Yes, perfect. Delete this. Add this. And you're good to go. Don't forget the variable. Here we got the variable. Here it's missing. Perfect. Alright. Great. One more thing. I would also recommend to test your animation. The parking animation is also correct. Here the driving animation is correct. The parking animation correct. Perfect. Okay. Brilliant. Good. Now we get the animation. We need a script for that. Let's call it driving and go to your prefab, open prefab again, and go to animations, add this to the Model S. Correct. Now it's alright. Now in here. Now in the driving, delete update and start, replace it with this method. This is also explained in here, what we are getting from Flutter. It's just a string with an integer actually, because we're going to parse it, because every message is going to be passed as a string. We parse it here to an integer and use it here. And also, how are you going to talk with the animator in Unity? It's very easy. First, you have to get the game object. Therefore, you can use the global game object method find, and then you can find a game object. But a very important hint: don't use this game object find method for, let's say, over 50 game objects, or like that, over 100 game objects, because this can lead to problems, and Unity does have limitation for this, and it's very good to have limitations for that, because you can always summarize objects into one. Because if you see this, the Model S contains a lot of game objects, but we're just talking with one game object, right? Okay, and in here we're talking with the wheels, right? And when we are going to get the game object, we can get by get component the animator and change the variable speed, right? It's the same variable like we also set up in the parameters here in the animator. Great. Alright, that's how we are setting the car speed.